biggest realization I've had recently is that fat loss doesn't come down to counting calories and to training loads and what you eat. It actually comes down to identifying your barriers and coming up with solutions to those problems. Now, this has been something that's tweaked for me, and the reasons I've put this in mistakes I've made and lessons I've learned is because I used to think that losing weight was actually down to us making a plan which is right for you based upon the calories that you need to consume. So trying to figure out a way to reduce food, basically. I thought that was the goal. And ultimately that is the goal, right? To lose weight, to lose body fat, we need to be in a calorie deficit. To be in a calorie deficit, we need to reduce the amount of food we're eating or increase the amount of movement we're doing, right? Now either of those things will help you lose weight. But there's always something else which is stopping you from losing weight. And that 9 times out of 10 is purely down to the fact that you think of problems as excuses and reasons why you can't do something, rather than seeing problems as the barriers in the way of you achieving your goal. Let me say that again. You see problems as excuses and reasons why you can't do something, rather than seeing them as problems that are and barriers that are stood in the way of you achieving your goal. If you can identify the barrier, if you can identify the problem, you can identify the solution, and you can identify the reason why you're not achieving your goal. So if you break this down into anything from a fat loss perspective, it will be as simple as you want to lose weight, okay? And I will say to you, okay, so can we move more? And you will say, I can't move more because I don't have the time. So, okay, so time's the barrier in the way at the moment. Why don't you have time? Well, I don't have time because I've got to get to work, and by the time I've got to work, I'm already stressed and late in the mornings, so I can't do it in the mornings, and I only get half an hour at lunchtime, and by the time I get home from work, I'm too tired. So all of those things for you are excuses. Can't do it in the morning because I'm in a rush. Can't do it at lunchtime because I don't have enough time. Can't do it when I get home because I'm too tired. So rather than seeing those things as, okay, well, these are just barriers in the way of you actually achieving your goal, so we need to come up with solutions for those problems, you see them as reasons why and excuses for just meaning, well, I don't have to do it because that's just an excuse and a reason why. When you start to take responsibility and ownership of it, you realize that you are actually responsible and you can actually achieve it. It just depends how much you're willing to put into it. So let's break that down again. When I think about fat loss, I think about me achieving my goal, and I think about what is in the way of me doing that. That is me identifying problems, and then I think about what are the solutions that I can come up with to solve that. And it's all about solving it in multiple ways rather than just one way, and then trying to find the easiest solution. So the way that I break it down with clients now, and the way that I've realized, is that actually when I work with a client, my goal is to identify their barrier in the way of stopping them from achieving their goal, and to come up with a solution for that problem is to giving them a reason and a way to do it. So let's just stick with the movement. We need to increase movement, but we can't do it. We can't do it for multiple reasons. I don't have the time, and that's going to be the biggest one from a movement standpoint. When I work with clients, I can't add movement because I don't have the time. It's like, okay, so we need to create time and find time. So we do that in a number of different ways. Can we get up earlier? No. Why? I can't get out of bed. Why? Because I go to bed too late. Why? Because I scroll on my phone. Okay, so you scroll on your phone late at night, which means you go to bed late, which means you can't get up in the morning to do extra half an hour before, a half hour walk before you go to work. And people are like, but I don't want to go to work all sweating. It's like, well, you don't have to. So my routine at the moment is I go to work, I walk on the treadmill for a half hour, I shower, then start my day. Now, I don't necessarily have to do that. I could do that where I live. I could literally wake up in the morning, I could open my front door and go out and go for a walk for a half hour, then come home. I just go to the gym because I start my work in the gym, and that's what I do, so it's easier for me. You could do the same. If you've got a shower at work, you could go to work, set everything up, go for your walk, come back, shower, get ready, straight into the day. And it just comes down to the amount of focus and general time you want to put into it. So if you want to add movement, multiple solutions to that problem are you could do what there's a guy called Chris Jarrett, I think is his name. I'm probably butchering that, and he's not going to watch this anyway. Anyone who does watch this isn't going to know him anyway. But he's a personal trainer in the Bristol area, and he calls it a fake commute. He may have got that from someone else, but I think this is a great idea, which is basically the days that you work from home, you would normally travel 45 minutes, half hour, 20 minutes to work. You just take that time and you make that a walk, which means you're going to get more movement in, and you're still doing the same commute. You still get up at exactly the same time, and you do that. Most people, I find, look for reasons why they get to do the things that they have to do at other times. So when they have to get up early to go to work, they see the times when they work from home as a reason to not have to get up as early for work. And that to me is a flawed way of thinking, because that to me, again, is finding solution or finding excuses and reasons why you can't do something or don't need to do something. Whereas when you start to realize that those excuses are the reasons why you aren't achieving your goals, then it changes the mindset into being like, right, I now need to readjust and rethink about this. And instead of having the thought process, and like this is what's changed with me, is like my alarm goes off at 10 to 5 every single day. It's not because I love getting up early. It's purely because that's the time I need to get my steps in the morning, to watch my lecture, to then get my coffee ready for me to work in the morning. But the point is I get up at 10 to 5, no matter what, Monday to Friday. I get up at 10 to 5, no matter what is going on within my week, whether I am going into the gym to walk on a treadmill, whether I have a client at 6 a.m. or a class at 6 a.m., whether I am working from home that day, doesn't matter. This time stays the same. I stay consistent with that time. I also stay consistent with my bedtime, so I stay consistent with going to bed 9:30. I stay consistent with going to bed at 10:30. But what I've realized is that consistency is what other people don't use, and they don't realize that they are constantly looking for excuses, which is exactly the thing that I'm trying to solve with this, is the fact that if you can start to identify that the reason you're not achieving your goal is actually because of the excuses you make, and not that they aren't valid excuses, they may be valid excuses, but the fact you're not finding a solution or a lateral solution, i.e., allowing that problem to still be a problem, allowing that excuse to still be an excuse, but then saying to yourself, but I can't let that be the reason why I don't do the thing. Meaning that if time is a problem for me getting steps, what could I do within my time, within the day or the week, to make sure I create time? And instead of going, I don't have the time, I would then just go, this is exactly what I've done. Well, I'm going to get up half hour earlier. I'm going to go to work. Or as soon as I finish work, that's when I go on my walk. Or when I go to the gym, I add 30 minutes on the treadmill afterwards to do my steps. Or I park further away in the car park. Or I just get public transport to work. Or if I already get public transport to work, I go to the bus stop one away from me. I drink more water throughout the day, which makes me need to go to the toilet more. So I'm ticking off 2 boxes there. I do the things and I come up with the solution which is right for me. When it comes to movement for weight loss, you just need to add some. So add some. Doesn't matter how, doesn't matter when. But the key with this and the key with everything is that we're consistent with it, and we can start to identify the ways to bring it up over time. So that is one of the things that is tweaked for me, is that, again, the solution to your problems and the way that you overcome and achieve your fat loss goals is to identify the barriers that you are using as excuses and problems and turn them into solutions, or at least find solutions. So whatever it is you're coming across, whether it's a fat loss goal and being like, I can't do it because I drink on the weekend. Now, that is one of those problems which is like, do I even want to achieve the goal, and do I understand the sacrifices that actually need to be made? Because to some degree, there is an element of you don't understand that you are just going to have to make more sacrifices, because what you currently think of as a sacrifice is nowhere near, or is way more than you are willing to actually put into it. And that's the thing. That's the problem that you need to overcome, is actually not that the weekends and the drinks the problem. The problem here is actually, I can't do what I want to do because I have multiple goals, or I have multiple things I enjoy within my life and want to achieve or want to do, and I haven't picked which one's more important. The bigger thing with restriction and stuff like this is, in our heads we don't understand that restrictions for a period of time our monkey brains think, can't have food, I'm going to die. That's the solution. That's exactly what happens. Or can't go out for drinks, I am now going to be removed from my social circle. Or cannot do XYZ, which means it's going to have a bigger impact, which means I need to do that thing right now. I need to have the cake right now because I don't know when I'm going to have it next. I need to go out for drinks with the girls this weekend because I don't know if we're going to have drinks every weekend like we've done for the past 3 years next weekend. So I need to do it now in case I miss out on it in the future. Fear of missing out, get rid of it straight away and realize that when you say to yourself, I can't do X because of Y, that is an excuse, that is a barrier. What can you do to overcome that barrier? Because that's the thing that's going to get you to your goal. It's not a case of eat less, do more steps. It is a case of eat less, do more steps. But what it actually is a case of what do I need to do to achieve my goal? Why can't I achieve my goal? There's a barrier. How can I overcome that barrier? Here's a solution. Within our app, we are basically going to be starting to create these. We're starting to create a load of problems and solutions. Basically, what are current problems that all of the members of the app are dealing with? Members of the app are also like my coaching clients. What are people dealing with currently? And I'm going to give solutions for it. And that is just a way and a frame of thinking which is different to previous, which is it isn't necessarily a eat less move more problem when it comes to fat loss. It is a what is your unique barrier and your unique problem which you are using as an excuse as to why you can't do something. You need to change the self-talk. You need to realize that you are capable of anything, and you need to realize that you saying I can't do that because of X is an excuse and is you avoiding taking responsibility. If this is hitting a nerve or you're going, fuck him, he makes no sense, he's a liar, then I'm probably right, and it's probably touched a nerve because you know it's true. I know any time that my girlfriend says to me, you do this, this, and this, and I go, no, I don't, it's probably because I do, and she's right, and I just need to accept that and actually take responsibility. So take responsibility, gang. I promise you it's worth it in the long run. My name's Charlie. This is How to Body, How to Mind. These are mistakes I've made, lessons I've learned. We will see you next week. See you on the next one. Cheers, gang.